Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive. We're going to try to completely master QuickBooks Online Banking today.
That's right. No more just keeping track of the numbers. We're going to see how QBO can help you make some seriously smart decisions for your business.
Exactly. And we've got an awesome guide from meritorious consultants to help us along the way.
Definitely some good stuff in there. I think even people who've been using QBO for a while will find some surprises.
Oh yeah, I'm already intrigued. So we're not going to get bogged down with the super basics today. I know you're already using QBO for your banking, but let's jump into something that might surprise even the QBO veterans out there. Have you ever really explored the power of setting up bank rules?
Bank rules, yeah, those are a game changer, especially when you start using multiple conditions.
Multiple conditions. Okay, tell me more about this. I'm all about making QBO work smarter, not harder.
Think about all those transactions that happen like clockwork every month.
Like my utility bills, subscriptions, that kind of thing.
Exactly. You're probably used to just categorizing them manually every time they pop up.
Yeah, pretty much. It's kind of a mindless click-through process.
Well, with bank rules, you can automate that whole thing.
Yeah.
And what's really cool is you can combine multiple conditions within a rule to be super specific.
Okay, so not just if it's from this company, but something more targeted.
Right. Let's say you've got a software subscription, right? And the price fluctuates a little bit each month.
Oh, I've got a couple of those. Drives me crazy when they don't quite match up.
So you could set up a rule that says, if the transaction is from XYZ software and the amount is between, let's say, $140 and $160, then categorize it as software expenses. Boom, done.
So QBO's not just dumping it in some generic category, it's actually thinking for me a little bit.
Pretty much. The more you customize these rules, the more streamlined your whole banking workflow becomes. It frees you up to focus on the big picture.
Huh.
Actually analyzing your finances, making strategic decisions, all that good stuff.
That's what I'm talking about. But let's be real for a sec. Sometimes QBO throws me a curveball. Like, it suggests a match that's totally off, or my bank just doesn't play nice with the Direct Connect feature.
Oh yeah, I've definitely been there. It can be frustrating, for sure. But the good news is QBO has solutions for that. First off, those wonky suggested matches. Remember, you're in control.
So I don't have to just blindly accept what it's suggesting.
Nope. You can review them, pick the right match, or even create a whole new transaction if you need to.
So it's like a partnership, QBO's doing the legwork, but I'm still the one calling the shots.
Exactly. And for those banks that just don't want to integrate seamlessly, well, you can always upload statements manually.
Ah, yes. The joys of manual uploads. I've spent a few late nights wrestling with those.
Key thing is to make sure you're downloading them in the right format, like a CSV, QFX, or QBO file.
Okay, file format. Got it. Anything else to watch out for?
Just make sure you're mapping the columns correctly during import. Making sure QBO knows which column is the date, the description, the amount, all that.
So basically making sure QBO and my bank are speaking the same language. No more accidentally categorizing my coffee runs as marketing expenses.
Exactly. Got to keep those books tidy.
Okay, so I've got all my transactions in QBO one way or another. Now it's time to face the music, right? Reconciliation time.
It's the task we all love to hate, but honestly, it's not that scary once you get the hang of it.
Well, I'm all ears. Why is it so crucial? Convince me.
Think of it this way. Reconciliation isn't just about making sure the numbers match between your bank statement and QBO.
It's got to be more than that, right?
It's about catching any little errors or discrepancies early on before they turn into giant accounting headaches later.
So it's like a financial checkup. Better to catch a small problem now than have it turn into a full-blown crisis later on.
Exactly. And beyond just preventing errors, regular reconciliation makes sure your financial records are accurate and reliable. This is huge, especially if you need to make informed business decisions, secure funding, or even just have that peace of mind knowing your books are in order.
Okay, you know what? You're making reconciliation sound way less scary. But honestly, what I'm most excited about with QBO banking is how it helps me go beyond just managing those day-to-day transactions.
Oh, tell me about it. QBO is so much more than just data entry. It's about understanding your financial story, using that knowledge to make smart decisions.
Right. I want to be proactive, not reactive when it comes to my finances.
And you can. One of the most powerful tools QBO has for this is the Cash Flow Insights section.
Wait, hold on. I can actually forecast cash flow within QBO? I had no idea.
It's pretty amazing. QBO takes all your past income and expenses and uses that to project future cash flow trends
Okay, that is cool. So I could actually anticipate potential cash crunches before they happen.
or identify periods of strong cash flow. Yeah, it's like having a crystal ball for your finances right there in QBO.
That would be a game changer. Instead of just reacting to financial challenges, I could actually plan for them strategically.
Exactly. And that level of insight can help you make better decisions about everything: pricing, inventory, even expansion plans.
Okay, I am officially blown away. But before we get too deep into the world of cash flow forecasting, there's one more feature I want to touch on: the audit log. Meritorious consultants really emphasize this one, and I'll admit I haven't given it much thought before.
It's one of those features that sometimes gets overlooked, but it's so important for security and transparency, especially if you've got a team accessing your QBO account.
Okay, tell me more. I'm intrigued.
The audit log's basically like a detective on your financial team. It keeps track of every single change made within your QBO account, editing transactions, adding new users, everything. It records who made the change, what they changed, and when.
So if I notice something fishy, I can go back and see exactly what happened.
Exactly. It's super helpful for catching errors, spotting potential fraud, and just making sure everyone's accountable. And it's all right there in the audit log.
You know what? I'm starting to see QBO in a whole new light. It's not just about managing transactions. It's about having real control, understanding my financial story, making smarter decisions for my business.
That's the power of taking a deep dive.
But before we get too carried away, there's one crucial aspect of QBO banking we haven't tackled yet.
You're right, we've laid the groundwork, explored some powerful features, and hinted at the insights QBO can unlock. But now it's time to demystify the process that even seasoned business owners sometimes dread.
Bring on the reconciliation challenge.
Stay tuned, because in our next segment, we're going to break down the entire reconciliation process step by step. Clear, concise, and hopefully even a little bit fun.
Can't wait.
Welcome back to our deep dive into QuickBooks Online Banking. We're really digging into the features that can make a difference in how you understand your business.
Absolutely. And we just touched on the audit log, which can help uncover even the smallest details.
Speaking of details, did you know you can take QBO's categorization even further?
How's that?
With tags.
Oh, tags. Yeah, I gotta admit, I've used them kind of randomly in the past. Sometimes I even forget they're there.
I hear you. A lot of people don't use them to their full potential.
So help me out here. How can I use tags strategically?
Think of it this way. Tags add these extra layers of detail to your financial story. You're already categorizing transactions, right?
Right, like meals and entertainment, office supplies, all that.
Exactly. But with tags, you can zoom in even further and get a more granular view of where your money's going.
Okay, I think I'm starting to see where you're going with this. Give me an example, like a real-world scenario where this would be helpful.
Sure, so let's say you're categorizing an expense for a team lunch. You'd probably categorize it as meals and entertainment. Right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
But what if you could also tag that expense with team building, or even the specific project you were discussing during the lunch? See what I mean?
So later on, I could pull a report showing all expenses related to that project, including that team lunch.
Exactly. You could even compare team building expenses across different projects or departments.
Whoa, that is next level analysis. I'm starting to see how tags can uncover insights that I might have totally missed before.
And it's not just about analyzing the past either. Imagine tracking expenses for a new marketing campaign in real time, using tags to see if you're on budget and if the campaign's generating a return on investment. Pretty powerful stuff.
Okay, you have officially convinced me that tags are way more powerful than I realized.
It's all about finding those tools that help you unlock the specific insights you need to make better decisions.
And sometimes the most powerful tools are the ones that seem simple at first, but then you realize how much depth they have.
Exactly.
You know, speaking of tools that can simplify things, what about when you have a single transaction that needs to be split between multiple categories?
Split transactions.
I run into this all the time, especially when I buy supplies that are used for different purposes.
Yeah, that's super common. And that's exactly where the split transactions feature comes in handy. Instead of just lumping everything into one category, you can allocate portions of that transaction to different categories or even accounts.
Okay, I'm with you. So instead of just dumping a $300 office supply purchase into a general office expenses category, I can actually break it down.
You got it. So let's say $100 of that was for printer paper, which is general office use. $50 was for marketing materials, and then $150 was for new headphones for your customer support team.
Yeah, that's a more accurate reflection of how the money was actually spent.
Exactly. With split transactions, you can make sure each dollar is accounted for properly.
No more guessing games when it comes to analyzing my spending.
It's all about making sure your financial records are accurate and really reflect how your business operates. And it's especially important when you're trying to understand your profitability, track project costs, or get ready for tax season.
Makes total sense.
It's all connected, right?
We've talked a lot about connecting to your bank, automating transactions, and carefully categorizing everything. But what about those times when you just need to unplug from the digital world and work offline?
You're thinking about those manual bank statement uploads, aren't you?
I am. It's not always smooth sailing in the world of online banking.
You're telling me.
Yeah.
But you know what? QBO is pretty flexible. It can adapt to how you like to work.
So even in this age of instant everything, I can still embrace a little old school bookkeeping if I want to.
Absolutely. If you prefer offline banking, or maybe your bank doesn't play nicely with QBO's Direct Connect feature, manual uploads are your trusty backup plan.
Gotcha. So it's good to have options. But it sounds like accurate data entry is still key, no matter how I'm getting those transactions into QBO.
Can't stress that enough. Garbage in, garbage out, as they say.
Now, before we dive into the world of reconciliation, there is one more fundamental part of QBO that I want to make sure we cover, the chart of accounts.
Oh, the chart of accounts, that's the heart of your accounting system, right?
It is. It's like the master list of all the categories where money flows in and out of your business.
Exactly. And in QBO, you have the power to make it truly reflect your business. It's not a one-size-fits-all situation.
So I can customize it to match my specific business structure.
Absolutely. You can change the account names, descriptions, create new accounts as your business grows and changes, and even group accounts together for better reporting. It's all about making QBO work for you.
So if my business suddenly takes off and I need to track a whole new revenue stream, I can just add a new account to my chart of accounts.
That's right. Your chart of accounts should evolve right along with your business.
Love that flexibility. You know, now that we've explored these core features, tags, split transactions, manual uploads, and the chart of accounts, I'm feeling a surge of confidence in my QBO abilities. It's like I've unlocked a whole new level of control.
That's the power of taking a deep dive, right? But before you get too comfortable, remember there's one final challenge waiting for us: reconciliation.
Bring it on. I'm feeling empowered and ready to conquer any reconciliation challenge. And I know our listeners are eager to learn the secrets to making this essential task a breeze.
Well, then stay tuned, because in our final segment, we're breaking down the reconciliation process step by step, revealing all those tips and tricks to make sure your books are balanced and your financial data is spot on.
All right, deep divers, we've made it to the final stage of our QBO banking journey. It's time to tackle the task that can make even the most organized business owner a little nervous: reconciliation. But honestly, I think it's got a worse reputation than it deserves.
You're right. A little knowledge and understanding can go a long way in taking the mystery out of reconciliation.
Oh.
Once you get into a groove with it, it's really just a regular part of your financial routine, like checking your bank balance or paying your bills.
Okay, so no more procrastinating. Let's break it down step by step and make this as painless as possible. Where do we even start?
Well, the guide from Meritorious Consultants lays out a really clear roadmap. First things first, head over to the accounting menu in QBO,
Okay, accounting menu, got it.
and you'll select Reconcile. It's usually pretty easy to find, right there in the menu.
Got it. So I'm in the right spot, ready to reconcile. Now what?
Now you're going to choose the bank account you want to reconcile. Pretty straightforward so far.
Easy peasy. Select the bank account. What's next?
All right, now it's time to grab your bank statement. You can use a paper copy or your online statement, whatever works for you.
Got it. Bank statement in hand.
And you're going to need two key pieces of information from that statement: the ending balance, what your bank says your balance should be at the end of the statement period, and the statement ending date.
Okay, so I'm basically telling QBO, hey, this is what my bank says things should look like.
Exactly. Setting the stage for the reconciliation process.
Makes sense. All right, what happens next?
Okay, now comes the part that might make some folks a little anxious, but honestly, it's not as complicated as it might seem. QBO is going to show you a list of transactions from your bank feed.
And I've got to make sure all those transactions in QBO line up perfectly with what's on my bank statement.
You got it. It's like a matching game. You're going to go through and carefully check off each QBO transaction that appears on your bank statement.
And as I do that, QBO will keep track of the difference between my QBO balance and my bank statement balance, right?
That's right. Hopefully that difference is shrinking with every match.
Ideally down to zero. That means everything's in sync.
0 is the goal. It means your books are perfectly aligned with your bank. But Here's a question. What if QBO is missing a transaction that's on my bank statement? Or what if there's something in QBO that's not on my statement?
Oh, that's a good point. It doesn't always match up perfectly right away. What should I do in those situations?
First off, don't panic. QBO has tools to help you handle those discrepancies. If there's a transaction missing in QBO, you can manually add it right there.
Okay, that makes sense. Add it in if it's missing.
And if there's a transaction in QBO that's not on your bank statement, well, that's when you got to put on your detective hat and do a little digging.
So a mismatch isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's just a sign that I need to investigate a little further.
Exactly. It might be a simple typo, a transposed number, or even a missing transaction on either end. Double check your entries, make sure everything's accurate, and if you're still scratching your head, don't hesitate to reach out to your bookkeeper or accountant for some expert advice.
Yeah, sometimes it's good to have a second set of eyes on things. So let's say I've gone through the entire list, checked and double checked every transaction, and I've managed to get that difference down to zero. What's the final step?
Time for the most satisfying click in bookkeeping? Hit that Finish Now button, and just like that, your account is reconciled. Your books are accurate, your financial data is reliable, and you can move forward with confidence.
I'm feeling a sense of relief just hearing you say that. Seriously, though, you've made reconciliation sound so much less intimidating.
Mission accomplished. And remember, practice makes perfect. The more you reconcile, the easier it becomes. Plus, the benefits are huge. Accurate financial records, peace of mind, and you're catching those errors early on before they become big problems.
Couldn't have said it better myself. You know, we've really covered a lot of ground in this deep dive into QuickBooks Online banking, from those hidden gems like tags and split transactions to the power of customizing your chart of accounts and, of course, conquering reconciliation. I feel like we've given our listeners everything they need to truly master QBO and use it to transform their businesses.
It's been a great journey. And remember, QBO is always evolving, so don't be afraid to explore, experiment, and make the platform work for you.
Absolutely. The learning never stops, and that's what this deep dive has been all about, empowering you to take control of your finances, understand your financial story, and make those smart decisions that drive your business forward.
So to all our listeners out there, keep driving deep, keep learning, and keep pushing those QBO skills to the next level.
And until next time, happy banking.